Well, hello. So, as per normal, I don't really know. I got a couple ideas of what I want to talk about, so I figured we'd sit here and just have a little conversation. And I'm going to play the role of you talking back to me in some cases. So, I was listening to NPR, and for those of you who know me, you know that's not something I do listen to it a lot. I like to understand what both sides are thinking. But they were going on and on about the evil Republicans and about how they need to tax the rich. And that's something that's what we're going to talk about, is the rich people. Now, first off, if you were to not tax them but actually seize everything they own, seize the businesses, seize all their houses and their yachts and all these things, you realize that it wouldn't even come close to paying off any kind of debt for America. I mean, it would be a blip, maybe a couple of months. That's it. That's how much our government has got us in the hole. So, and I haven't even looked at what the deficit is, but you're talking about millionaires and billionaires. Well, the government is spending trillions and trillions of dollars. You need 1 million billionaires. Is it 1 million billionaires? I think it's 1 million billionaires, because 1 million is a billion. So 1 million billion is a trillion. Think about that. For 1 trillion, you need 1 million billionaires. I think the math is right on that. I might be wrong. I don't know. Or is it 100,000? Ah, crap. My calculator don't go up to a trillion, so I couldn't do the math. Anyways, $1 trillion is a lot of damn money. 1 trillion. And most billionaires, if you took the top 1%, is maybe 2 trillion, maybe. I doubt it though. Anyways, here's the flaw that I've always said to people one-on-one when I'm talking with them. Let's say you have people 500 million and above. Or they're going to tax people 500 million and above, or 5 million and above. It don't matter. You're going to tax them. Okay, you're going to take away, which I think right now they're at 30 to 50%, depending on what they do, and that's off their income tax. In other words, how much money they make. And then let's say they raise it to 70% or 80% or 90%, whatever, to make up a damn number. Okay, well, if they don't like that, they're millionaires and billionaires. They can just leave. Any other country in this world would gladly accept a billionaire coming to their country. Okay. Number 2, you can only tax them on income, so they can just say, you know what? I'll shut down my business. I'm good for the rest of my life and the rest of my kids' lives and the rest of my kids' kids' lives. See what I'm saying? So they can just say, I won't pay. I'm not going to take income, so you can't take any taxes on me. Not until they die, death tax. So, and that's another thing we got to watch out for. Let's say, like Burger King or Taco Bell, one of them millionaires, billionaires, and you start taxing them like crazy and say, you know what? It's been a nice run. I've had all my money. We're going to cash out. We're going to close down all the Taco Bells, all the Burger Kings, all the whatever X company here, and we quit and everybody's fired. I mean, the odds of that is pretty slim, but it can happen. And I've seen smaller non-national companies do that, saying, you know what, you guys have lost your mind. I already have all the money I need. I'm out. Everybody's fired. Have a nice day. I mean, that's another thing that could happen by overtaxation. So they can quit, making money. They'll still get stocks and benefits and everything else. They'll still have money coming in, but it won't be income, because You know, I mean, all these charities that all the rich people go to, and they keep throwing money around, and all it is a big slush fund of everybody's money. So, you know, you have your buddy up the street and he has a charity, and you have a charity, and the other guy across the street has a charity. Y'all have these big lavish parties. You give the one charity money, then that charity gives your charity money. And it's a just big road. I mean, this is how it always has happened. And unfortunately, poor people and middle class people don't realize how money works in this world. I mean, that'd be a hell of a video to sit down and have to show how all the money works. But, you know, rich people are rich because they know either one, how the system works, or two, they bust their ass getting it. Okay? That being said, the poor people are poor because they don't know how the system works, or don't know how to utilize the proper tools, or was never taught it. You know, I'm not going to say poor people are not workers, because a lot of them hustle their ass off. They just don't do it the right way. You know, and it's not that they're any smarter or any dumber. They don't know the system. Like me personally, every time I have money, I'm not the kind of person who wants to have a lot of money. I like to help people out, and I try to help people out. I just have a horrible way of doing it. So, what is this? Oh yeah, that's a new thing. I got so much stuff on, well, not so much, but I got stuff on Facebook that I'm starting to sell, and I'm having alerts pop up while I'm making videos. So I wonder how many of these may transfer over to the video. I want to find that out. But so that's part one. You know, you screw around the rich people. You got to remember, they're freaking rich. They can leave. They can quit. They don't need to work anymore. So then what? You know, you got all these, you know, like I was listening to the NPR, they were talking about how, you know, everything's going to be paid for off the backs of the rich. No. The reason they're rich is because they know how to beat the system, and I'm not talking about illegally, I'm talking about legally. You know, you have to have rules, and when you know the rules, when you know the ins and outs, you know how to manipulate or adjust the rules. Anybody who's ever played Monopoly knows this. You know, you have the rules, and then you have ways to get around them. It's like on the other video, you know, you have a set amount of houses. Well, if you buy up all the houses and you can't go straight from nothing to hotel, then you just won the game because you locked the system up by playing by the rules. Same thing happens. I mean, every single business, you're given, here's the rules, here's how you do it. And then the smart person of a business says, okay, this rule is a gray area, there's not a definitive decision, or because it says this. Okay, case in point, let's talk about the mask thing. Okay, the rule is to go into a store or a business during COVID, you had to wear a mask. Okay, I spent an entire year wearing a mask, which happens to be a hair tie. You know, it's because I had difficulties breathing through a mask. You know, it was just difficult. I'm fat, I'm overweight, I had asthma, but I still have trouble breathing. You know, I get winded walking up and down the street. You know, I'm not gonna wear some surgical mask that technically, one, doesn't protect anything coming in, it only protects going out because it's made for sick people. Or two, wearing a HEPA filter, which after, you know, according to the manufacturer, after 1 hour's use, you have to throw it away because it gets saturated by your exhaling, and then the chemical breaks down, or the mask actually breaks down because it gets moisture on the inside of it, and either one gets clogged up, or two, expands and creates holes, which allows the HEPA filter not to work. I mean, this is, you know, so you have to replace a mask every single hour to 45 minutes, depending on what you're doing. I mean, that's what the manufacturer says. So you have all these things, but you know, these rules are there to basically enforce the incompetence of the, and I won't say, no, hold on, let me back up. The rules are there to, one, law and order, or to give order, but if you know how the rules work, then you know how to play around with them. Let's just put it that way. So, but I find it that find it interesting on how there's people in this world. They keep saying that the rich are going to solve their problems. The rich is going to. It's all the rich's fault. You know. Well, let's take them out of the equation. Okay, everybody who's rich, they burn their money. They say, okay, we're not going to be rich anymore. We're just going to jump out of the system. That doesn't help any single poor person. In fact, if anything, it hurts the poor and the middle class, because the poor and the middle class get their money, one, from rich people. You know, all these cars being built, all these TVs being built, all these houses being built. You know, these are for, you know, higher income earners. Poor people don't own houses. Middle class fight to own their house. You know, I can't tell you how many people right now couldn't buy a house if they wanted to. That's one of the main reasons why I'm not selling mine, because I know if I sold it, I would never be able to buy another house. I can't afford them. So, you know, it's the ludicrous nature of a liberal. The fact that if only the rich paid more. The rich give out more than you could believe. You know, I mean, these big corporations do more to help out America and to help out other countries, you know, than you could possibly imagine. You know, all these charity groups are on the backs of millionaires and billionaires. Poor people don't donate to charities. If they do, it's not enough to make them survive. You know, you got it's good to get out of your own head and understand what's happening and to be humble. You know, it's I kind of wish, and not for pain but to kind of, I wish there was someone who had a significant business, you know, and where they were very comfortable in their life. And I know they wouldn't do it because most of them aren't cold-hearted like this. But if one of them said, hey guys, you know, or even if he was a nice guy and say, here's a 1 year, everybody gets 1 year's salary, you know, take the year off, look for another job, I'm closing my doors, you know. So let's say it's a good thing. But they said, we're doing it because of the policies put forth on our government. I can no longer participate in this society. I'm tapping out, which I'm doing. But I'm just saying, if someone who owned a large citywide business, or not even national, just something that would, but I would respect him for doing that, and not that people would lose their jobs or nothing like that. I mean, do it in night, but I would love to see, you know, how the more, you know, liberal-minded person would react to that. I mean, of course, they'd say, "Oh, he's evil and hoarding his money," but you know, but if someone comes in, like if let's say you make $100,000 a year, which is a lot of money. I know a couple of people that make around that, and they pay on average about 30%. You know, in other states it's more, and you know, or maybe a little bit less. But let's say you know, they can, okay, well, we're going to jump it to 50%. You know, well, that's going to hurt a lot of people. So they say, well, if we make a little bit less, you know, we stay at 30%. So maybe we just, you know, cut back, and so we can stay at that lower tax bracket, because 30% of 80 is, you know, probably better than 50% of 100. I should say 70% 80. But anyways, you know what I mean. So I don't know. It just it kind of irks me that everybody has these delusions of grandeur on how rich are going to save the planet, and in reality, they're the ones that can put us in the dirt in a heartbeat. Not killing us. I'm talking about just, they can put a hurting to the middle and lower tier income earners. Hell, they paid, what is it, 50-60% of all the taxes, you know, in the United States. I mean, when you count in all the super uber rich, I mean, they, you know, they say, oh, well, you know, maybe on individual taxes, no, they probably don't pay a lot. Okay, and there's a reason for that. It's because before they paid themselves, they put money in charities, they put money in stocks. Also, whenever they talk about, I'm kind of curious when they talk about all these billionaires don't have cash laying around. It's all invested into art, into China, into, not China the country, but like $100,000 sets of plates and clothing, and they have all this money that's spent in electronics and other businesses, in philanthropy, in charity work, and stocks. And I was like, okay, well, it's not like they have cash sitting around. They're not just going to come and take the cash. So how are they going to get this money out of other places? How do you sit there and say, well, you bought this, Rembrandt, or this, whatever other artist is out there, Leonardo da Vinci or whoever, some artist, you bought this $1 million painting, which they already pay sales tax on to begin with. Well, that's not income. So how are you going to take income tax out of it, So I find it comical in the wrong aspect, but I find it funny that there's so many people that think that if the rich only pay their fair share, which they already pay half of all the taxes are from rich people. Like 80% of, well, I don't know, it was at 70 or 80% of the population that is under a certain point pays no taxes. I think anybody making under 30,000, most people that make 30 to 40,000 or less usually have income tax returns where they get money back. They're the amount of tax that they pay in is, a couple thousand versus what other people pay in who, they may have a lower percentage, but they're paying a hell of a lot more. Anyway, I'm kind of getting a little all over the place. I'm trying to keep it focused here. But yeah, it's wrong, and it hurts us if they leave. It hurts us as low to middle class people if they decide to say, you know what, screw it, I'm done. I've been working for years to get myself in a position to where I can say, screw it, I'm done. And I'm not rich. I have ways of making money, but I am in no means rich. I make more than what I spend most of the time. And that benefits me, but it's how I spend. And in fact, if I was to quit buying, I'd be a hell of a lot better off. But I have a sickness or addiction to going shopping. It's something I've always liked to do. Oh, I got stuff behind me. I went to the flea market and swept up all the trash. I took the bookcase down because we got a nor'easter right now, and because of all the wind and everything, I just felt it'd be safe to go ahead. So I took it down and took all the books and just put them on a table. And I'm gonna go through and sort them and make a couple piles and see if anybody wants to buy them for like $5 a pile or something like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna go out there tomorrow. It's gonna be rain. It's gonna be nasty. I'm just gonna go through the stuff I have. I'm gonna empty this off at the warehouse. I got one guy who said he's gonna come by on Monday to buy all the speaker boxes. So I posted that, and they're already, I was offering it for next to nothing at the flea market, and they were, you give it to me. So I put it on Facebook, and I already got hits. People say, hey, as soon as it quits raining, I'll be there to pick it up. They just don't want to carry them in the rain. I says, I fully understand that. So, and it's a stereo shop out of Daytona. He's going to drive up, and I told him about all the installation kits, and I told him, I'll put together some more piles for him later on if he wants. He says, hell yeah, man. He says, your price is right. I was like, listen, my prices are fair. I said, I want someone to make money. I said, I want something out of it, but at the same time, I want someone to benefit and do better. So if I make a couple bucks and you can make a couple bucks, that's a win-win for everybody. But so far, it looks like Facebook and Craigslist and all that's going to do well. And then I really need to just sit down. I got my computer set aside in the desk over at the flea market that I couldn't sell. Sunday, I'm taking the trailer up, and I'm going to load that up in the big bookcase and bring that the bookcase I'm taking to my house to sort all my Monopoly games on, and then the desk I'm gonna put probably in the office or out in the shop to where I can do eBay and stuff. Because that's gonna be I have 3 extra computers. Just in case one of mine's crashed. I bought them all for like $100 a piece, and they're all i5s, pretty good computers. But I'm gonna get one of them hooked up and then do the so I can have my Facebook and everything on a computer as well as on the phone. So I'm working on that. But I'm over here at the new Burlington Coat Factory up in Ocean Way. I was gonna go see what all they have. I'm looking for like a trench coat, like a long, trench coat. I have a couple of jackets, but I kind of want to get that. So, never had a trench coat. I figure I'd try to see if they have one over here, and if they're crazy price, or if they even have anything in the store at all. Oh, and also, can someone tell me, please, for the love of God, what the hell is going on with the spray paint? It's been 3 months now. There's no spray paint anywhere. Lowe's is sold out. Walmart sold out. Hell, even AutoZone and Advance Auto is sold out. What in the hell is going on with spray paint? Anyways, if you made it to the end of this video, I really do appreciate it. So, just the fact that someone's willing to sit there and listen to me ramble, you have no idea how much I love the fact that you'll do that for me. So, and hopefully you get something out of these rambles, but I do appreciate it. That being said, I'm going to go, hopefully not spend money, but I'm going to go and look and see what a trench coat costs. I'm not going to say why I want a trench coat. I've just never owned one. Okay? I want one because I've never had one. I may not even like it. I'm just going to try it out. So, we'll see what happens. Anyways, peace, love, money. I'm out.